Grand Rising. So the theme for 2024 is a grand rising. The theme for March is that's how we've never done it. Topic for today, tell me something good. Ernest Holmes offers this perspective on inner guidance. Divine guidance is ours for the asking. The answer to any problem which can ever confront us already exists in the center of our being. And Albert Einstein offers this. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful service. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. So, let's use the creative power of our words and affirm together. Divine intelligence lives in me and guides me in each new day. Wonderful. And I would like to introduce Reverend Kathleen. Oops.
Go. Tell me something good. Anybody remember that song? Tell me something good. Yeah. Tell me. Well, I have a morning prayer that I'd like to offer you. And it goes like this. Grand Rising God. So far today, I've done great. I haven't gossiped or lost my temper. I haven't been grumpy or nasty or selfish. But in a few minutes, I am going to get out of bed. And that's when I want you to turn up the volume on the guidance. And so it is, amen. Anybody identify with that? You don't have to admit it. So as divine humans, we have a rational mind, and our rational mind is a faithful servant that serves us very well. And so we want to definitely acknowledge that. That's one of the gifts that we have. But there is a greater gift that is so much more than that, which is the intuitive mind. And why? Because the intuitive mind is an extension, an expression of the one mind, the one infinite universal intelligence, God, the one life. So the intuitive mind is such a gift. And, there are people who say, well, that person's an intuitive. Well, guess what? We're all intuitives. So let's own that. Let's own the intuitive mind. Let's own that aspect of ourselves that provides all of the answers that we need as we move along our journey. So today is going to be about 2 ways to draw upon the intuitive mind. 2 ways to draw upon that one intuitive mind. And so the first one, when we find out that we're in a situation where we've been using our rational mind, which is what most of us tend to hang out in, and we can't figure it out. We've made lists and we've tried to figure it out, and it's just not happening. Well, that's the time to let go of the rational mind and to drop in to a deeper place within us. Become quiet and listen. And the world's great scientists and inventors have practiced this and continue to practice this. They've realized that they can sit in their easy chair, close their eyes, drift into a dreamlike state, which is called the theta state of consciousness, and ask the questions that have stumped them so far. And Einstein and others have, in these dream states have received the answers to these things that have boggled their minds for years. It's a powerful practice. Why? Because they are contacting the intuitive mind. They're contacting the one all-knowing universal mind in which we live, move, and have our being, and we find it right within the very center and core of our being, because we are that presence in an individualized expression. So when we do that, when we are guided into the thoughts, words, and actions that result in the good. There's the tell me something good, right? The good that we desire for ourselves, for others, and our spiritual community in the world. So this is a beautiful path to finding that and having the confidence then to move forward in that direction. So the first one then is and here's what you can say. When you notice that you're totally hooked on trying to figure it out, I can't figure it out, but spirit can. And the I that we're talking about here is the ego, right? I can't figure it out, but spirit, my true self, the divine within me, can. So repeat that after me. I can't figure it out, but spirit can. There we go. And so as we cultivate this connection with our intuitive mind through daily practice of meditation, visioning, contemplation, what we're doing is we're dropping from the awakened, the kind of awake beta state into that theta state, this theta state of consciousness. And there's magic that happens there. There's magic that happens, because what we're doing is we're dropping beyond the conditioned surface mind into the very depths of our being. And that is where not only intuition rises up, but also creativity and learning. So we can actually take our affirmations. If we want to get our affirmations to work more quickly, go into a deep meditative state, into that theta state, because what happens is it opens up the subconscious mind, and then we can plant our affirmations in that deep state, and they'll take root and blossom more quickly. As we drop into this theta state, we're also cultivating oneness consciousness, the field of all joy, all potentiality, all peace, all harmony, all intelligence, all wisdom, all that we could ever desire. And then the cool thing that happens is we don't have to make things happen in our lives. What we can do then is we can turn within and we can allow the good that we desire to manifest. We become a vibrational match for our desires. And we know that when we do visioning, our visioning core knows this. We do visioning, we catch visions in the mind of God. But then we also understand that this is about our own evolution in consciousness. So we do our inner work. What must I release? What must I become in order to be that vibrational match to that vision? So it is an evolutionary, conscious evolutionary process. It's a process of as within, so without. We cultivate the consciousness to be the field in which the vision, the dreams, the desires are made manifest naturally. We're moving beyond the struggle and strife of the rational mind. So when we're stuck, we can say, I can't figure it out, but spirit can. Ready? I can't figure it out. And then here's another one. I made this one up. I like this one. Meditate, 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 and cultivate the theta state. Ready? Meditate, 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 and cultivate the theta state. You like that? Okay, so that's the first one, going within, cultivating the theta state, listening for guidance. And here's the other thing. This next one is called God winks. The one mind, as our intuitive mind, can also arrange synchronicities or God winks that seemingly are like they're in the outer world. However, we know it's all one, right? It's still our intuitive mind working magic, seeming magic. So those little nudges and even the 2x4s that we get are reminders that the veil between spirit and the manifest world is very thin, much thinner than we think, because all of these synchronicities or God winks are popping up. They're actually popping up all the time, and the more you meditate, the more you recognize them too. That's the other cool thing. So here's an example. A book falls open to a useful passage. Someone shares a perfect resource that you're desiring. You ask for a sign on whether to take a job offer, and you're driving along on the road, and a bus passes that says, "Take it now." I once asked for a sign, some of you know this already, when it was time for me to move on from school counseling, because I was getting all kinds of actually signs and symbols that entire summer. And while I was in a workshop, a journaling workshop, I got a call from the office at the school, and they said, "We hate to tell you this, but the ceiling fell in your office." So I think that was a sign. That was definitely a sign. So it was like, okay. So I went in and I resigned, and I agreed to train the new school counselor that would come in September. And it all worked well, because here I am today doing what I love to do. And I did love school counseling for that period as well. So I feel like I've been blessed. So calling them God winks, I like the idea of calling them God winks, because it makes me laugh, it makes me smile, and it reminds me that I am supported by the one presence, the one life God. I'm supported and that I'm on the right track. So God winks, how about that? Everybody ready to call them God winks? So remember, they seem like they're outside of you, but they're really divinely orchestrated by the intuitive mind. This is another expression of the intuitive mind. So whether it's coming from within or whether it's showing up all around you, it's that one mind. I'd like to share a story with you, and I want you to listen for the inner guidance part of the intuitive mind, or the intuitive mind showing up as a God wink. Okay, you ready? So this is a true story. This is one of my, well, I won't tell you. In 2014, Lynn Nowicki, a licensed practitioner, was in her mid-60s, and she wanted a big change in her current career. So her current career provided her a lot of financial comfort, but at the same time, a lot of unhappiness and a lot of stress, very high stress. She called it high stress. And she wasn't wanting to retire. She was wanting to, I love this term, refire. Find a new path, a new career, a new vocation that was something that she loved doing. And so she decided to enroll in a prosperity class to discover this new direction. And as the weeks went on, she was witnessing her fellow students having all of these demonstrations, all of these breakthroughs in prosperity. And she was feeling stuck. I mean, she had made her list, she had done her prayers, and nothing was exciting her. She was not feeling inspired at all. So she decided to share it with the class. I mean, what she was doing, she was trying to figure it out with her rational mind, okay? She decided to talk to her classmates, voicing her distress and her envy that they were all having breakthroughs and she wasn't. And there happened to be a stranger that dropped by class that night, which I thought was very interesting, who dropped in the class And after class, this person approached Lynn and said, I think what you might want to do, I think you're thinking too far in the future. How about if you just ask yourself, what will bring me joy now? So she was like, she rolled her eyes, and she resisted it for a while, and then she said, you know what? What if Spirit is speaking through this woman, and this is something this is guidance, this is something I'm supposed to do. So she took it into prayer. She actually took it into meditation, and she asked that question, what will bring me joy? Almost immediately, she got an answer. Ministerial school. She could feel the joy surging in her. She was so excited. Oh my gosh. And she was a licensed practitioner at the time, by the way. Surging through her. And so the next day, she called Center for Spiritual Living's home office, enrolled in Holmes Institute, got a ministerial degree, and that was 2014, it's 2024, so 10 years later, it said she is still living that joyful vision. It continues to unfold. And then she had this one final comment. She wanted to thank the stranger, but never saw the woman again. Isn't that? Okay, so now, what's the God wink and what is the guidance, inner guidance? Anybody? God wink is the woman showing up, and the guidance is, well, what was the actual word that was the guidance? Ministerial school, yeah. Okay, so she had both a God wink and an inner guidance, some occurrences that took place in that story. So let's yawn and stretch. Okay. What is something that you have been trying to figure out? And it just hasn't happened. Right? So repeat after me. I can't figure it out, but Spirit can. Close your eyes. Breathe. Drop into your heart. Deep, deep, deep into your being. And ask the question. Be willing to completely let go of figuring it out. Ask the question and listen. I'm just going to give you a minute. Invite any God winks too that might be necessary. And when you're ready, open your eyes and find another person just to share with very briefly. Lovely. Barbara, do you want to find somebody to share with briefly? Did everybody get a chance to share? bring it to a conclusion. Breathe, relax, trust. Beautiful. So let's bring this to a conclusion. I invite all of us to thank the rational mind, just consciously thank the rational mind. It's been a faithful servant. And at the same time, I'd like you to truly honor this intuitive mind, this gift that is so readily available, and yet it's important to cultivate it with meditation, with visioning, and understand that this magical thing called life is just full of guidance. Guidance is everywhere. It's within us. It's all around us. And so I'm going to invite you this week, as you move through the week, actually today even, just notice all of the God winks and all of the intuitive hits that you get, and give an extra big thanks for that. And let's receive that with a powerful yes! And so it is. All right.